We've been casually grinding our cooking skill for the past few days, from level 45 to level 54. That's 9 levels in 4 days, not bad for a casual player. Hopefully by next week I can already reach level 60, or before the month ends we can reach level 69, then I can move on to another skill. By the way, we currently have a giveaway in this channel. Check out this vid and press the like button. If this can reach 2K likes, we'll pick out a winner of a 3-month VIP. If ever we fail again to reach the 2K like requirement for this week, we'll set up another giveaways again next week until we reach that 2K goal. Today, we'll talk about the highlights of yesterday's Pixels AMA. There are so many important leaks about Guild Task Board. Guild Leaderboard competition with over 1 to 5 million pixels prize pool, future plans for coin in-game OTC, and so much more. So grab a hot coffee and join me in today's video. This is Artdiced from BCH Guild, and welcome to my channel.
I'm going to demonstrate how to withdraw your partner. Now, some of you are skeptics from BCH. Stuff again on the boards. Artdiced is back. You thought that my calculations are wrong. Medyo mataas lang. BCH number 1.
You guys still here? So yeah, step 1, we're working on. Okay, yeah, see that works. My handwriting is going to be the other issue here. But we're working on task board difficulty.
Okay, Mr. Essay, I say, prepare to be written. I'm doing it. Yeah. There and done. Now let's see how it looks so far. Break time.
So right now, a lot of the task difficulty inside of the game is very out of balance, especially for tier 3 and tier 4 resources. It's a big issue. The game doesn't feel right now because of that. And it's also leading to some weird gameplay too. So one thing that we're going to be working on is a large change to our approach here. That's one thing that we haven't done yet. So the first 2 weeks of chapter 2, what you saw basically us doing live ops updates to basically doing small tweaks and adjustments to the task board difficulty. There's some things we finally got right about it after a week or two, right? When you guys first saw the task board changes, you really didn't like the changes in chapter 2 initially because they felt wrong and they were wrong. And what we did was we got a new approach to how we did progression inside the task board. And now some of the things that we set out to achieve in chapter 2 with basically more progressed players or higher level players earning more pixel, that's all working now. Now, what's not working is some of the economics of the game around tier 3 and tier 4 resources with the way that we intended. So that's the next thing that we've been starting to focus on. And this requires a bit different of an approach than what we were doing previously. So
this is good news that they still acknowledge that task board is not balanced, or rather grinding for the task board definitely needs tweaking. Basically, market prices are low right now, and we're always resulting to negative profit when grinding using energy from wines that are bought on the market. Task board can actually increase the demand for the low-tier items to lower their volume and gradually increasing the value. For some people, task board feels good right now. Well, for those whales, perhaps. But for the casuals, I think it's very risky. That's why I only limit myself in spending 50k coins a day in the task board. If I get 20 pixels today, I'm already good. But if I don't get any tomorrow, it is what it is. I'd prefer spending my coins, grinding my levels for a long-term investment, rather than spend it to grind the task board with so little return.
now what we're going to be doing is we're going to basically be doing a whole task board balance redesign. We kind of have to do it ground up, which is annoying. So the goal here is we want to basically tweak how we do energy, time, and coin cost in the task board and change the progression that way.
One solution I can think of is adding low-tier items as ingredients to high-tier crafting. This way we can maintain the demand of these items in the marketplace and increase the value. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
So the end goal and the end outcome for all of you guys is to, like, as simply put as it can be, the task board should feel better and more fair, and it should feel like the tier 3 and the tier 4 are worth more. So there's a couple of things that we're going to be doing there. One of the things we've gotten a lot better at is the data side of things, and that's what we're working on. So we have better economic data coming in. We have an idea of basically all the stock of items, and we're going to start basically changing the task board to respect the marketplace a little bit more. So right now the task board is completely balanced on energy. What we're going to start to shift is actually having the task board balance on the actuals of the game economy.
This is what I was saying earlier on how they plan to use the task board to balance the market prices. I can't stretch enough on how brilliant the task board is. No wonder Axie Infinity implemented the same concept.
So essentially making sure that if there are resources in the tier 3 and the tier 4 that are very, very cheap to acquire, because maybe the balance of creating those resources was a little bit off, or there's like a ton of resources from chapter 2 that got migrated in chapter 1, we're going to start to change the task board to make that make a bit more sense. Issue 2 that we're seeing, early game coin crunch. Yeah, so right now it feels really, really hard to get coins as an early player inside of the game.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
And that's not great. It hurts the first-time user experience a lot. It hurts the more casual player experience a lot. So there's a couple things we want to be doing here. We did one thing over the last week, which should help. So approach 1 was we increased your daily coin reward inside of the game. And maybe we should show people where this is, because I don't think everybody's aware. Maybe, Heidi, do you want to pull this up? We increased daily coin rewards, the reward dashboard, because I literally think not everybody knows about it, which is kind of funny, from 100 to 300.
So if you don't have any idea what Luke is talking about, Pixels is actually giving out daily coins through the dashboard. Just go to the dashboard and claim your coins, then go back to the game and claim via mail. Originally it was 100 coins, but now they increased it to 300. I wouldn't say that this is not helping. It is helping, but not a whole lot. Logging in daily for 1 month only gives you 9,000 coins. That's like spare change compared to how much we need for a daily grind.
Yeah, let's just do it live.
Let's do that.
And now what we're going to start to do too is we're going to start to introduce more rewards like that for the early users. So there's a couple of things we can do in the early game that make it so that it's easier to get coins without complete task board adjustments. So one thing like that is login streak rewards. One thing like that is like more tasks to do that are maybe even not like task board related. We want to make it easier for people inside of the game to get coins earlier on so you can actually play the game, get energy, and do all this kind of stuff. So there were some easy wins there. Have you still not claimed your...
This is just my opinion, and you probably won't agree, but I wouldn't focus on giving away free coins, because this could keep on motivating a lot of bots. I would rather want the team to focus more on balancing the energy, since the real issue here is the energy. Coins would not be a problem if they fix the issue with energy. One thing I can think of that might be a solution is to increase the energy cap for VIP from 1,000 to 2,000 or 5,000. We'll leave the numbers to the team since they have all the data.
Nice. So what we'll start to do is we're going to start to add more here. There's a couple different ways that we can give you guys coin and pixel, right? So this is one of the other interesting systems that we built out that we'll start to take advantage of more. So expect to do things like daily login streaks where the coins that you get start to increase, and all that too. So then there's maybe some other stuff that we'll start to do too when it comes to the approach. For this, I think the other thing that we want to start to experiment with is we want to do things like increase the soils and coins that new people start with. We want to make it so that you can get through the initial game loops a bit more. And then for the fourth approach, yeah, we're going to start to add more coin rewards for level ups and basically exploring other things you need to level up to. Those are the things that the team is focused on right now. And then the next two things that we're focused on after that, once we solve these two issues, are stuff around the coin OTC loop, which has been really interesting.
This is how the top 100 players do their grinding. They buy the coins from a trusted seller, they trade the coins in-game, and use the coins for energy. So if you got a lot of cash and a lot of time, you can easily climb the leaderboard.
So some of the emergent behavior that we've seen you guys do inside of the game is around coin OTC. So a lot of you guys are playing the game where you're buying coins with Pixel, which is kind of cool, from basically third-party people inside of the ecosystem. And, you know, we don't hate that people are doing that, right? Like, I think that's a cool way to play the game.
I do remember Luke said that it's allowed to sell or buy coins from other players, but this is not advisable. I'm just glad his point of view in this is evolving. This is how Web3 should be. Imagine if you can easily trade your coins for pixels in-game, or if you badly need coins, you can just trade using your pixels.
Because it makes coin and that whole loop interesting, right? Like if you earn coins, you're not really earning much pixel. Like if you want to lead the game, you can go and do something with your coins still, right? However, this is a pretty interesting thing where, you know, we actually might be able to add some more pixel utility and maybe capture some more of that into the pixel ecosystem than maybe these third-party traders, right? So we're going to start to re-implement better pricing of coins into the game. So we just basically want to make it enticing enough where if you guys want to buy coins from us, it makes more sense to do that from a coin OTC trader. But there's a few things we need to think about before we do this. We're being a little cautious with this too. So one thing that we do coin OTC, where we make the pixel price of coins a bit more favorable to users, is we don't want to increase coin inflation too much, because if we sell too many coins, right, it's going to ruin the coin market, the task board. It's going to make it even harder for new players to come into the game So
So one question has been bugging me since the day these coin traders appeared out of nowhere. Where are they getting all those coins? Zenkix already mentioned this in his streams. The coin traders are actually buying the coins for a cheaper price from multiple players and reselling them for a higher price but in bulk. So that's one way, but of course there's the sus way. It's not entirely impossible that a coin supplier is a bot farm. I'm just saying.
But that's simply not possible.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you
yeah, we're doing that here. So basically, that's the next part that the team is investigating. Like, what are the actual impacts on selling more coins for Pixel inside of our game? Can we start to capture some more of that from maybe the bad actors inside the ecosystem? Because there's a bot market that exists with coin OTC, and that's the kind of coin OTC that we don't like. We don't like cheaters getting Pixel. We like real players getting Pixel. So we're going to start to close that loop a little bit and probably capture more Pixel revenue that way too, which is good for the ecosystem, and look into that. So coin OTC is the next thing that we focus on after that. And then issue 4 that we're seeing in the next part of the game balance is around, what is it? More of like the game balance monitoring too. So what we want when we think about coin OTC markets is essentially want to give Pixel's official, and we also want to do this with energy too. So if you look into the Pixel stores right now, there are 2 areas that make no sense. It's when you go to buy coins with Pixel, it just is not priced appropriately at all. Same thing with energy drinks too. So these are 2 things that we're going to start to shift into the Pixel token, and it should actually be pretty interesting when it does the monetization. But yeah, we're pretty optimistic about that. This is a bigger initiative that we're working on. I'm going to call it Task Board V2. So we're working on Task Board V2. And what V2 is going to change is it's going to change a lot of the ways that we distribute Pixel. So right now we give Pixel strictly kind of by level progression. So the more that you level up, the more Pixel you get, which works all right. But there's more that we can be doing here. We can be a lot smarter with this. In the future, when I say future, we're trying to get the first version of this out in maybe like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. There's some like very easy small wins that we can do to get the first stages of this. Is we want to know a little bit more about you, and it's going to kind of be tied in with a new reputation system, though they're going to be slightly separate. They're very, very related. What we want to do is we want to give more Pixel to people who use it more.
Wait a minute.
This is very familiar. Feels like the new Axie Infinity Premiere board. If you guys are familiar with the Axie updates.
And it's very simple, that statement, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into this too. So there's a couple things that we need to actually make this work. One, we need more ways to use the Pixel token, and that's going to be a lot of the game balance stuff that we're doing. So once we start to add in more ways to use the Pixel token by like buying coins, other things like this, we'll have some better data. But we already have enough data to basically get some best guesses here too. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to do better targeting with our rewards. So right now you might think, hey, I'm a really good player. I'm not leveled up as much as some other people, but like I feel like I should be getting Pixel. Like I'm the kind of user that Pixels really wants, right? Like I'm a wholesome player. I decorate my farm. I log in every day, and I'm not getting the Pixel that I deserve, right? Well, that's the kind of user that we're actually a lot more interested in retaining as well. So there's different types of users that we care about inside of Pixels, right? And I will say, somebody just posted this comment, how about we give more Pixel to people who don't sell it? Easy fix. That's kind of the stuff that we're going to start looking at now when we think about Pixel token distribution. So what kind of data do we have? Pixels is in a really fortunate spot.
This can also act like staking. We can just deposit Pixels in game so we can earn more Pixels. They need to balance this properly before they implement this, because this can be easily abused by the whales.
Because we have 3 things that basically no other Web3 company or gaming company really has. We have a very interesting data set. We have a lot of active users, and we have a very fast team. So what are we trying to do now? What we're trying to do is we're trying to basically get insights from this data that we have to do better Pixel token distribution. So some of the data that we have first-party game data, which basically means we know how you play. Do you decorate a farm? Do you chat? Do you use the marketplace a lot? And none of this is like personally identifiable. It's like aggregate data basically. But we have like data on these users on like all the actions they do inside the game. And what we can start to do is we can start to label these users by player type and player persona. So
basically they compile all these data so they can determine the behavior pattern of players in the game. These can actually help them make more better decisions on how to improve the game, or probably make new one in the near future. This is very interesting stuff, at least for me.
Can you hear the lawnmower that just turned on?
behind
Nope,
you,
no, we're great. Yeah, it's very loud to me. So yes, behind me.
I think one thing that we just talked about today, which is interesting, is a quest board. We should do more generative quests, I think we decided. So essentially like 1 or 2 things that you might do in a given day that are a bit more engaging than the task board. And this is a new system that we might be able to introduce.
So this thing is not entirely new. This is known as daily quests in most live service or gacha games like Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. If you're familiar with these games, they have a daily quest system where you complete certain tasks to gain bonus XP for your world level. I would love to see this kind of gimmick in Pixels, but hopefully they make this more interesting, especially the rewards.
That feels a bit better, and we can start to do some of the pixel stuff too. There might be like random events or like new systems, like a notification or a pop-up that we give you every day too, that are just like a bit more clear. So that's one thing that mobile games do really well. They do really good targeted notification systems, and we're still missing that kind of stuff. But basically, if you like pixels, if you're here every day showing up, I wouldn't worry so much, because you're the kind of person that we want to be giving more pixel to, and this is the system that we're working on.
I remembered something like the attendance system in one of those Ragnarok online private servers. They have this reward system where you get certain rewards if you're present in this date. And if you have a complete attendance for 1 month, then you get a special reward. Now this could be a great system for Pixels. This could potentially draw in more players.
So yeah, I will say some of the stuff that we're going to start to look at too are going to be more explicit, like staking. So I call that like a more explicit system. So staking, and how we do this is like most likely our staking system will probably work kind of similarly to VIP, where if you stake more, you'll probably get some more earnings. That's still TBD on how exactly we do that. And there's probably some other cool stuff that we can do in addition as well. So we'll get back to you on what exactly it looks like. We've been anti-staking for a while. I like the idea in this framing more so. And it doesn't even necessarily need to look like staking. Like honestly, putting your pixel into the game already operates a lot like staking. So there's some stuff that we'll probably think about there. So if you don't know what live ops means, that just means more events. But
I love it.
the difference with more events is we want to start to use events as new opportunities to earn pixel.
Tell them to bring me my money.
I think it's going to be easier to explain to you guys what we're thinking here if I just kind of give you an example of the type of event that we're thinking. So for the type of event that we're thinking are essentially guild competitions. That'll most likely be the first event that we do. And they'll be really exciting when we do that. So essentially what we'll do is we'll have a guild competition.
This is what we've been waiting for, especially for those who are members of a guild, players who invested in guild shards. The time and effort that we've spent for those guild event collaborations, everything will boil down to this guild competition.
And the prize will be a big pool of pixel. It'll probably be, it might be something like 1 to 5 million pixel. Like I want it to be massive.
Damn!
And essentially there will be guild leaderboard, and the guild will essentially be competing for the prize pool. There's a few things that we'll have to work out to make sure that it feels fair for the guilds. Like we want to make it so that guilds feel like they'll be able to compete with each other for it, right? Now there might be a balance because, you know, if there is a 400-person guild, they probably should have an advantage over a 4-person guild. But there might be some things that we can do to figure out that balance too. So this is exactly what we're designing now. We want to go live with this probably in 4 weeks.
What are you guys waiting for? Now is the time to look for a guild. Feel free to check out BCH. We're accepting new members and shard pledgers. BCH has 4 lands currently, but our community is big. Our Discord has 3,000 active members. You might think that we're at a disadvantage since we only have 4 lands. That's where our allied guild comes in. Check out these lands that is owned by the INSOMIA guild. All members from the 2 guilds are free to access these lands. We're planning to have exclusive member access soon, so better not miss the opportunity. For guild links and Discord, check out the description below.
But this will introduce some very interesting new economic gameplay when we start to have this. So this will be the first test of our like next set of features that we're thinking about. And I think the route that we're still thinking about going down is contestable lands. I will say we have somebody new coming on who's going to start to own contestable lands and decide what we go in that direction. We'll announce that person in like a couple weeks. But yeah, we just got like a crazy new hire. I'm super excited about them. Yeah, you guys will be stoked when we hear what they worked on and what like kind of plans they might have for this kind of stuff. But yeah, guild competitions will be like the next basically way to earn pixel, and we'll start to do more consistent live ops. We just brought on somebody who's kind of helping us reshape our live ops strategy, and it's a lot different than what we did before. So with live ops, how our approach was before, if you did an event with us, is it basically created like separate game loops They were kind of completely separate from the game and not integrated with anything. Like these guild competitions will be very integrated into energy and other systems like that too. It'll kind of feel like play to airdrop if you want to participate in something like that again.
We might see the pixels economy booming once the guild competition begins. Players will have a reason not to sleep again, just like what happened on the previous P2A. Energy items like wines and food prices will most probably skyrocket, but guilds will keep on buying them to have a better chance in the leaderboards.
So it'll be completely optional. It'll be on the side. It'll be a new way to start to integrate with guild gameplay. There'll be a huge prize pool. And our goal is that it's a net sync. So say that 5 guilds compete for, the 5 million pixel prize, and they spend like, 2 million each trying to get that prize. That's a net sync of 5 million pixel tokens, right? So we're not sure if it's going to completely work out like that, but that's kind of the thinking with these things, where new way to earn, but you got to win. And finally, we're going to start to introduce some competition into the game that hasn't existed inside of Pixels before. So there's going to be some fun stuff there. If we do a contest like this, it won't run long. We might split it up in like several rounds of the contest. So maybe the prize will be like 1 million for one weekend, 1 million for the next weekend, 1 million for the next weekend. They'll be kind of operating like how you guys see a lot of games right now.
Everything that was discussed sounds promising so far. I'm pretty much looking forward to the guild competitions. Imagine that juicy 1 to 5 million pixels rewards. It is after all the reason why we decided to show our all-out support to BCH Guild. So hearing all these leaks, as a member of a guild, I would start leveling my skills as soon as possible. If I'm the type of player who doesn't care about any of this and just wants to earn a bit, then I'd start saving up some items that might be useful for other players that are participating in the guild competitions. What about you? What are your future plans for your account? Let's have a healthy discussion in the comments section. That's it for our video. This is Artdiced from BCH Guild, and I'll see you on the next one.
I'm going to demonstrate how to withdraw your partner. Now, some of you are skeptics from BCH. Up again with the boards. Artdiced is back. You thought that my calculations are wrong. Medyo mataas na. BCH #1.